I like to consider the following timeline and information. Over 200,000 years ago, humans were just little monkeys, and we were mostly gatherers, very rarely hunters, and it's believed that one of our earliest niches was to go after a predator had killed something and scavenge the bones and crack them open and eat the bone marrow, which is believed to be one of the reasons that we still enjoy crunchy food, is from eating bone marrow. But we were not very fierce animals, and we weren't particularly intelligent yet. The use of fire was probably more to, at first, manipulate geography, so to clear large swaths of brush, to make grasslands, or just to make things passable. But inadvertently, that allowed us to do something incredibly important, which was to stumble across roasted nuts and cooked small rodents and meat, which was vastly more nutrient, which allowed our brains, or among many theories, allowed our brains to explode in terms of growth and use of power. So our brains are very big, and they're not the biggest to body size of any animal, but they certainly take the most energy. And in order to make those brains work without having to eat for very long amounts of time, we have to be able to have very nutrient-dense food, which cooking allows us to do. The cooking also likely allowed us to shorten our digestive tract, which is also a large way to take energy in animals, is to have long digestive tracts. So we shortened ours. We were able to do that because of cooked food, and we were able to grow our brains and become more intelligent creatures, allegedly. The other thing that we did is we stood up. We are obviously uniquely one of the only animals that walks on two legs and walks upright, the only primate. That allowed us to have more feeling and dexterity in our hands, because now these two front paws were free to do things. And that did come with some consequences, though, because being able to stand narrowed the gait of humans, and that was particularly hard on women because it narrowed the birth canal. It also gave everyone back problems and neck problems, which obviously we still experience, but yeah, big problem was it narrowed the birth canal, and that made women just start dying from giving birth. So evolutionarily, that encouraged humans to give birth more and more prematurely, and ultimately that is what's happened, because if you look at a human baby versus most any other baby in the animal kingdom, our babies are particularly useless. Most of their vital systems are particularly underdeveloped when they're born, and it takes a very, very long time to raise a human. However, that allowed our social abilities to flourish, because that required a groups of humans to help raise children. A single mother likely would not have been it. Why is my drone rising up in the air? A single mother would have likely not been able to forage enough food with all of these children that she had to take care of. So that required us to be very social creatures, on top of a myriad of other reasons. And that social ability and that favoring strength of bonds, also, what makes humans so unique is our ability to organize in numbers beyond our own memory, and essentially the only way that we're able to do that is by creating fiction in our heads, because we're able to believe in or think or manifest ideas that do not exist in the real world, things like gods and money and governments and nationalities. But anyways, that's not the point. The point of all of this is that it allowed us to rise from the middle or the lower bottom of the food chain, as we were these little scared monkeys that were never top dogs, to, in just a short 100,000 years, we went to the absolute top of the food chain. And that's really rare for predators. Most predators at the top of the food chain got there through millions and millions of years of evolution, and that gave them lots of checks and balances, and gave them a tremendous amount of confidence within their domain. But humans, because we had such a rise to power so quickly, we are still filled with all that same nervous system and a lot of those same early instincts of that animal that was just the little monkey scurrying around picking up scraps of other animals. So on that note, I would like to read a quote from one of my favorite authors, Yuval Noah Harari. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Is there anything more dangerous than dissatisfied, irresponsible gods who don't know what they want? I don't know what you're going to do with that information. I just think it's interesting.